Hi, I'm Abigail. I'm your host of Nothing Left Unsaid. Things are heating up and we have a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. So I just got back from a trip to New York City and DC, and it was such a great trip, much needed. That was my first time visiting New York City, and I really fell in love with the city. I have to say I'm a big fan of subways, like good public transportation. We should be doing that here. We should be doing that everywhere. I want trains. I want so many trains. I definitely want my tax dollars to go towards things like trains and things that help people, definitely not what they are going to, which is genocide in Gaza and mass deportations of immigrants, as the Trump administration is doing right now. In other news, we just had Katy Perry and an all-female crew go up into space on a Jeff Bezos rocket. So yay for faux female empowerment. I really am so glad that we can have an all-female crew go up into space, as you know, we're getting our rights taken away actively every single day with things like the SAVE Act, which will make it harder for married women who have changed their last name to vote, and just for actually millions of people beyond being a woman married to vote in general. And, you know, things like abortion access being chipped away at every single day. But good thing we have that girl boss rocket crew. Also going on right now, or this past weekend and this upcoming weekend, is Coachella. There's a lot of outfits to be seen on the internet, lots of music. What's cool is that we can all stream it from home. So for me, what the artists that I would see if I were at Coachella, and I don't honestly really have time to stream Coachella at home, but if I did, I would be going to see Artemis, of course, Charlie XCX, gotta do it. Clairo, I Dress is another one that I would love to see. Horse Girl. I'm a big Japanese breakfast fan, so very envious of everyone who's getting to see them. I hope that I can see them someday soon. Julie is another one of my favorites, like shoegazy. Really love that band. I actually will be seeing them this summer, so I'm very excited about that. Meg Thee Stallion, of course. I did see her a few years ago at Lollapalooza, so that was really fun. I always forget that I saw her, but I would love to see her again. It was a great time. The Marias are another one of my favorites. The Sacred Souls is, I think I only know one song by them, but my friend just got married in October, and that was the song that she and her, or I guess just that she walked out to, and it was really beautiful and has a special place in my heart. And of course, Tyla. So let me know what you would be going to see at Coachella, what you're streaming at home. It was cool to see Clairo bring out Bernie. I can't imagine like being at Coachella. A bunch of these people are probably like tripping on some sort of psychedelic or other drug. And then Bernie Sanders comes on stage. I'm sure that was quite an experience. So shout out Clairo for that. It's nice to see famous people that have these platforms getting involved politically and motivating their fan base to get involved politically. So that was cool to see. It's like once you see things, you can't unsee them. Speaking of music festivals, I did just see, I think it was an article from Al Jazeera, but I'm not positive, about how the company that's building a lot of these, like doing the logistics and stuff for these mass detention centers, concentration camps, got their start doing event setups for music festivals, large music festivals. So another reminder, I think it's always important to remember that not only is our government enacting vile immigration and detention policies, but there are people profiting off of that, and it's disgusting. And that's the motivator. That's why this is happening at the end of the day. I've never been to Coachella, but I love live music. It really feeds my little heart. And it's something that I haven't been able to do as much this year. Honestly, trying to like save money and just being really busy with a lot of other stuff that is also important to me. But I am excited tonight. I'm going to go see a smaller show at a bar called Gracie's Tax Bar. Some of you may be familiar if you live in Phoenix. But two the bands that are playing are people that I know. So shout out to Malls Phoenix and to Elna from San Antonio. Really excited to see everyone tonight. As far as what I have been doing, I guess one of my screen usages is been watching Love on the Spectrum. I'm very excited for the new season to be out. I've only watched a couple episodes, but big fan of Danny as usual. That girl is hilarious. And Perry is also one of my favorites this season. So no spoilers, but I'm really excited to keep watching that. Definitely is nice to like just have a show that feels good and positive. Yeah. Also I finished White Lotus, as many of you I'm sure have finished that. I don't want to do any spoilers here either, but what I will say is that everyone's standing, God, I don't even know their characters' names, Chelsea, I think, and the Walter Goggins, that actor guy, is ridiculous. Justice for her. I am also a big fan of Yellow Jackets. I haven't started the new season yet, but I'm hoping to finish season 2 and like refresh my memory before I get there. But I love that show. It's kind of all over the place, but I think it's interesting, and I'm a big fan of Jasmine Savoy, who actually is a producer of another one of my favorite podcasts. It's called Today in Gay, and it is like a breakdown of just everything happening in the queer universe. So definitely give that a listen if you're interested in that. And so now Trump just pulled off the apparently largest market manipulation in modern history. He's been pushing these tariffs that reportedly will cost American families $4,600 per year, which I just need to pause there because what the fuck? I don't have $4,600 laying around. I don't really know anybody who does. So while he's doing that, he's crashing the stock market. And this was, of course, the plan all along. He and his billionaire friends rigged the market so they could make billions in a single day, just by Trump pausing the tariffs and then literally getting on Twitter, telling people to buy before he did that. And of course, he's bragging about how much money him and all the rich people make as we're figuring out, how we're going to pay the higher grocery prices, higher prices for just about everything, it seems like, because we don't make anything here in America. I guess we're about to start. And moving on to what I think is probably the most important issue right now, and is certainly the one that I can't stop thinking about, is the wrongful kidnapping and deportation of Maryland father and legal resident Kilmar Abrego Garcia to a private prison labor camp in El Salvador. Again, he was wrongfully deported. The Supreme Court has, or I'm not sure if it's the Supreme Court, but a court has ruled, a federal judge has ruled that, thank you. A federal judge has ruled that he must be returned. But Trump is basically like, I don't know. We'll see. If it's up to the president of El Salvador, who he literally just had at the White House. And the president of El Salvador has no plans of returning this man, who we just sold to his country, to be put in absolutely deplorable conditions. It's extremely horrifying. And what needs to be said here is that, like, if it can happen to this man, it can happen to anyone. Like, it doesn't matter if you are a citizen. Trump literally said on camera with the president of El Salvador that maybe it'll be homegrowns next. So basically anybody that he doesn't like or disagrees with him, that's where he's trying to sell them off to and ship them off to. But yeah, so he can't make the president of El Salvador give us this man back to his family. But apparently we're supposed to believe he's going to make like China and the rest of the world bow down on tariffs. Doesn't make sense. And just also, I think it needs to be said, like, even if we are doing this with due process, that is not acceptable either. There's no justice in a process, a due process, in a system that is based in white supremacy and capitalism. So I think that a lot of people are kind of really waking up to what's going on because of the lack of due process. And I think it's like a little unfortunate that it has to be once people are like, oh, it could be me or it could be my friend who speaks up about XYZ or whatever. But at the end of the day, we are selling people off, disappearing them, shipping them off away from their families to the private prison industry for these folks to make money, and shoved in a cage. And the photos coming out of this prison are horrific. And I just think that we all need to be screaming at the top of our lungs about this regime. We should not be calling it the Trump administration, the Trump administration. I am changing that language in my brain to regime because, like, let's be very fucking clear about what this is. This is a fascist, authoritarian regime. And to be fair, we've been inflicting fascism and authoritarianism on other countries for many, many, many years, and doing it here as well. But it's getting a lot more out in the open, and the standards are, it's starting with deporting student activists who have been involved in pro-Palestinian protests, which, for good reason, because we're literally funding like murdering babies every single day with our tax dollars. So of course people are protesting, and they're trying to repress that. But it's starting with those groups, those people who are making their voice heard on that issue, but it's not going to stop there. Next, it's going to be, name your issue. They're going to come after anybody that is pushing back and fighting back, which is why it's more important than ever that we all come together and start fighting back now before it gets to our group or our issue or our door, literally. I guess further disappointing but not really surprising, given that educational institutions in the United States uphold capitalism in the United States. But seeing these universities just absolutely collaborate with and give up their students to Trump's regime, kidnapping people and sending them wherever the fuck, literally, is really horrifying. Shout out to Harvard for pushing back. Never thought I'd say shout out to Harvard, but like what's going on at Columbia, I think across the country, over 200 people have had, students, maybe it's more than that, have had their visas revoked. I know here in Arizona, I believe it's over 50, which is just terrifying. Like sending people into this, like that's just terrifying. That shouldn't be happening. And every single person that works at ASU that is working with ICE and working with the police, the cops to do this, I don't know. I don't really have nice words. It's disgusting, and they should be ashamed, and they should face something. I don't know. It's really shameful to see all of these universities that are not only rolling over to Trump and his regime and his plans, but actively collaborating with these people who are trying to revoke student visas without giving them any warning, just for speaking out about an issue that they care about, that we should all care about, and giving them names, letting ICE and the police onto their campuses. Here in Arizona, I believe there's over 50 students who have had their visas revoked, and that's just unacceptable. I can't believe, actually, I haven't seen too many stories of universities pushing back, but Harvard, shout out Harvard for pushing back and saying they're not going to let the Trump regime attack their free speech. So hope to see more of that. So that was our news. To wrap up, I just want to point to one thing that has been really great to see is all of the rallies and protests and thousands, and like tens of thousands of people, might even be hundreds of thousands of people at this point with all of the rallies combined, showing up to say that this is unacceptable and fight back against the billionaires and Trump and all of the cruelty that they're inflicting on us for profit. Next week, in a couple weeks, we have a rally here in Arizona, It is the May Day rally. It will be at the Arizona Capitol, marching to the Sandra Day O'Connor Courthouse. So really encourage folks to show up for that, and that'll be on a Thursday. So it's during the work week. However, it is a day in which legislators are actually at the Capitol, and we've got plenty of horrible bills in the Arizona legislature that are meant to support Trump's deportation agenda. So we definitely want to make our voices heard on that. So come out. I'll put the info for the rally in the notes, and would love to see you there. And yeah, just, there's going to be a bunch of different organizations present and represented. So get involved with an organization that speaks to you. And also join a mutual aid organization in your area. We need to be addressing the needs of our communities directly. And, whether it's doing some cooking and taking some food to a community fridge, or actively going and joining up an organization and volunteering. I think that's the most important thing that we can all be doing right now. I just finished a training on how to be an abortion doula. So that's something that I'm very passionate about. And, those of us who have resources, doesn't hurt to, have a little extra plan B on hand, or whatever you think the need is in your community. So that is keeping me going. That is keeping me motivated. And I hope that everyone can find something that speaks to them as well. Thank you so much for tuning in today and listening in. It's been fun to do these episodes and learn a little more and get a little more comfortable. And I appreciate everyone who's watched so far. I hope you stay tuned.